Hi, folks. Welcome. This is Tuesday, April 22nd. Is that right? 21st? 21st, I think. It's Tuesday anyhow, 21st or 22nd, whichever day it was. And we have passed the 1:30 time in the East and here in Central Time. Hi. Chris Green had a dream about the sky going dark because of a huge UFO, and it was supposed to happen yesterday or today, and we're past the time he thought it might happen. He said, this may not be a prophecy, it may not be now, but this is what he had been given. And so anyhow, it has not, I haven't seen any indication of it. Interesting bit of news from was it Dr. Shiva? And Stanford University and University of Southern California, USC, have been doing some studies on research on this virus, and they have documented proof now that it is no worse than the flu. It's not like we didn't already know that, but there's now the research proof. And Lisa Haven put out a video just a little bit ago that came out. I'll just read you. It's called Media Busted on Hot Mic at White House Press Briefing. You won't believe what they say about the virus. And they're quoting, it was John Roberts, the reporter, and he actually even tweeted it out, apparently, she said, Lisa Haven said. And so he's admitting, before the press conference started, I think yesterday, there was a guy just kind of straightening things up, wearing a N95 mask, it looked like. And he said, you don't need to wear that mask. This isn't any more dangerous than the regular flu. And we've now got proof from studies. So, folks, hey, Patricia from Belgium. Welcome, my dear. Thank you. And I feel like we've been had, you guys. I feel like we've been had. I wish Larry had been here to let us know, and maybe to step into the middle of all this and knock some sense into somebody in Washington and say, stop this, you can't do this. He's got ways of communicating with people, doing something that the rest of us could only dream about having. So I miss having him here with us really, really badly. But he's not at the level of care he had been. So I hope that means that's a sign of improvement. I have no idea where he is, but I hope that's a sign of improvement, and that there will come a day when he will be back. It's going to be a long recovery for him because of how much damage has been done to his poor body. But well, thanks, Patricia. And I want to, with what we see going on, and forgive me for laughing. I'm just, those of us that know Scripture know some of what is coming. And so I just wanted to read again Mark 13 chapter, where the disciples ask him, okay, I can see this. Yes, I can. No, I can't. Where his disciples ask him, what's going to be the sign of his coming? And, well, I guess I can't do that, Chris. I can't see it. I don't have good enough lighting in here. I've got the light shining in my face, so everything else I'm trying to see, I cannot see at all. So it'll have to stay for another day, but I would highly recommend you go to Matthew 24, Luke 21, and Mark 13, because they will tell you what those chapters tell you what Jesus says. The statement that it's not any different, I'm responding to Linda. She says the statement is in conflict with other researchers. Well, surprise, surprise. But this is a university research, and when you see the numbers, it would seem like the research is proving what the numbers are showing. So back to scripture that Matthew 24, Mark 13, and Luke 21 are where Jesus talks about the signs, and he talks about war, famine, earthquakes, solar eclipses, stars falling out of the sky, which we know to be the asteroids that are flying by and whizzing by, and the Lyrid meteor shower. You should be visible to the naked eye just before dawn tonight, tomorrow morning, just before dawn. So that might be interesting to see. BP Earthwatch showed you, he did a video today showing where in the sky to look if you want to see it, which direction. So, all right, that's it for me, Elly, because I can't see. I don't have enough light on in here. And
oh, wow. I first wanted to go over what they were saying about the statistics, because I told my viewers this morning that there is a CDC has come out with, and it's kind of buried in their info, and I happened to find it, on exactly the criteria for those that are quarantined, those that have little symptoms, those that have no symptoms, and it's nothing like you would think. It's nothing like what they've been telling us. And, they're coming to find out that they went on wrong model numbers. They're even saying that 50% of the deaths in some of the Democrat states are not even there. I hope, well, maybe send her over to my channel to watch today's show, because I spent a good 35 minutes on it, on what we've been able to find out, what we're hearing, what the CDC is saying, and everything. Mary Ellen, I do have really good news. I think you're going to like this. Well, maybe.
Well, that'd be good, because I had some good news of my own this morning. My prayer chair, it's a very small lazy boy recliner that I had in my bedroom, where I read the Bible and prayed every day. That was, I call it my prayer chair. And when it came, only the seat ended up in my bedroom, and the back was missing. And no matter what I have looked behind everything, and I couldn't see it anywhere. And I was moving boxes around this morning, and I found the back, so I could put my chair together. Unfortunately, the landlord was here Sunday trying to replace the fan in the master bedroom ceiling, and apparently dropped it on the chair and busted the back of the chair, the back of, the back end of the seat. So anyhow, it'll still work without having that piece on the back, but I was thrilled that I have my chair back. So one way or another, I'll have to figure out something to fix what he broke. But I could use another piece of good news.
Oh, yeah. Well, I went over to Larry Nichols' house yesterday, and me and his wife had a real long conversation about how he's doing. I didn't want to know where he's at. That was something I told her that didn't interest me. We talked for a very, very long time. And new disclosures. We talked about his health, where his health is at right now. How his health has been over the last 3 months. And then we got into talking about his health over the last few years, and it went on beyond. Pretty much, since I've known him, what his health has been. We discussed it thoroughly. Wow. Okay. He did send a message to everybody. And The thing with talking to her for a very long time, I just learned a lot. A lot I didn't know. A lot I really got to make a lot of decisions on for Larry Nichols. And he said at least a dozen times to me on the phone, get this, after I talked to his wife, I talked to Larry Nichols on the phone.
Nice.
So, and me and him had a nice long conversation until, he couldn't talk and, or unable to, he was getting tired. Me and him had a long talk, and at least half a dozen times he said, stay with me, Elly, stick with me, Elly. And I said, I'll be there for you. I got your back. I told him, not to worry of, him losing time. I've got his memories. I got your back, Larry Nichols. And I'm going to look in the camera and say it. I got your back, Larry Nichols. And Miss Carrie, I got your back too. I'm having a hard time with this, Mary Ellen. Really having a hard time. He's fine. Larry Nichols is doing good. If he could jump up and click his heels together, I bet he would. He sounded on the phone like he did the day before, the last time I'd really talking to him. He sounded good. He sounded healthy. He didn't sound like anxiety. Concerned of, getting better, and it's going to be slow going. His message, I'm going to give you guys his message, and then I'll go on with discussion of between him, him and me and Carrie. I was at Carrie's for over an hour yesterday, and me and her are like two little peas in a pod, I think. We both pretty strong women, and we just don't put up with stuff. And then I got to talk to Larry for about 35 minutes, maybe a little longer. So that was really nice. He said, tell my viewers, I miss them so much. It really misses you. And he plans on coming back. It's going to be a while. He's got a lot of recouping. He's lost a lot of weight. He's got to get his strength back. But he said, what he told you guys, he said in September, but he remembers. He says his memory's kind of iffy. That he told you guys last year that the Democrats were going to crash the market. They would find some way to crash it, but Trump would fare through it okay. That he had some good people behind him. And if you all remember that, he's very, very proud of you. He said, well, some of the stuff I was like, Larry, I can't say that. And we giggled about it and laughed. Yeah, you're right. He said, he wanted to know what kind of news I've been doing because he hasn't really had a chance to watch. And I told him, what I was giving you guys. I told him that, I've been giving the current news. I'm giving maybe a little world news. I'm slipping in something that I can find that isn't on the news yet. He said, that's good, Elly, that's good. He says, you've always been spot on. And he says, so tell the viewers that all your info is correct. And I said, Larry, I can't tell your viewers that you said that I'm correct in my news. I said, that's like hearsay. And he got quiet, and then he started laughing, and he says, yeah, you're right. You can't tell them that. And I said, well, I might tell them. I'm going to think on that one. But we giggled, we laughed. Oh man, he sounds good. His voice is back to what you remember it, how I remember it.
Well, that's a big change. Wait, Elly, that's a big change for 2 weeks because it was so faint I could hardly hear it 2 weeks ago.
Well, he is low. He does talk low. But he sounded maybe 2 weeks ago, Mary Ellen, but I talked to him yesterday.
Yeah, that's
And he sounded really good. He said if he could get his feet a moving, he's gonna be okay. And that's what the doctors is looking at, is him getting his feet moving. And once he can get his feet moving, he'll be okay. And I asked his wife in detail of, what are we looking at? What kind of time are we looking at? What can I tell the viewers when he's going to be back? I said yesterday was filled with where's Larry? Where's Larry? How's Larry? Is Larry okay? Is Larry coming back? Folks, I seen it yesterday and it just broke my heart. And, I told his wife that. And me and her, like I said, we sat down for a very long time and we talked about his health. And I probably know more about his health now from her than I've ever known. She was very honest with me. And, there's a lot of stuff I got to think on how we go about bringing Larry back, how we bring him back. And I know everybody will just shove in here and want to hear his word, but we really got to take our time with him. He said because of things he's behind on that he don't quite know, I told him, don't worry, we'll fill you in. He was worried about a little bit of not really mind loss, just kind of memory stuff because of being in the hospital for so long. And then, being released, because he did go, folks, he did go to the hospital first off. That flu, that pneumonia was very bad. And that's about the extent that I know of. I do know more, but I'm just not going to tell y'all. But he did go in and he did have pneumonia, just like we thought. He had the flu. But he's doing really good. And yeah, God is saving Larry for the right time. So when he does come back, I agreed and I told him yesterday, me and my team will work with him. We'll get him caught up on the news. If he can only come back once a week or twice a week, then, be patient. At this point, we got to be patient with Larry Nichols coming back. And so if you guys have questions right now on anything, the dog, I had to pet her the whole time. She wanted to lick in my hand, slobber in my hand, have me pet her, have me scratch her back. Well, she wanted her belly and chest done, and the whole time, I was just scratching Rosie's. Yep. I'd let go, and she would be like right back slobbering in my hand again.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
And so yesterday was very enlightening, very interesting. Probably a lot of stuff I really didn't need to know about the man, but Larry Nichols is Larry Nichols, and he's there for you guys. And I even told him, I said, well, Larry, I said, we got to get together. And he said, definitely, we will get together, and we'll work this out. We'll work this all out. So, even once a month, he gave me the info to give you guys, that about Trump. And he said, you make sure. And he said, Elly, if I give you info, you could give the viewers. And he said he trusted me, I'm not very threatening in person. So even his wife, I take no purse. I take no phone. I wear my skinny pants and a skinny top, so you can tell there is nothing on me. And I'm glad I worked it out that way, because now it's like me and her we just flow with talking. We talked everything from Larry Nichols to stuff at the hospital, and she has been locked out recently. But she said they are doing a visitor every 24 hours, and that they were talking about lifting it again, So he's kind of in a, where he's in rehab. I'm not sure if he's staying there because she sounded like she was able to talk to him regularly. So I'm getting the thing that he has just some rehabilitation at home that he needs done, to get his strength back, because he did lose quite a bit of, um, he's weak. He told me on the phone himself, I'm weak. I've lost a lot of weight, and it's just going to take a while to get my strength back. So, if you guys have any questions, Mary Ellen?
You presented some fabulous news. Good for you.
Yeah. But the whole conversation with the wife, it was the one that really got me, because, wow. I was blown away, speechless, and Elly's not normally speechless. I was speechless for an hour. I was just like, wow. I said, bless his heart. And he probably, had a question above. Let me look. I told his wife, and I believe I mentioned to Mary Ellen being in town, and I goofed, Mary Ellen. I really goofed, so I'm gonna have to.
Right. Goofed how?
He called me, okay.
Yeah.
And I told him I looked at the phone and I had the phone number, okay. And so I said, okay, I'll call you back. Well, I hung up, and when I called back, or went to call back, I didn't have the number. So
What? It didn't show up?
no. And well, it did, but I am not going to call it because I don't know. I do not myself want to have a clue where he's at. I'm not sure if it's a private number or what it is. And I told his wife, I told Carrie, unless you tell me, what's going on, if he's at home or what's going on, to this point, I don't want to know. Because if you want to keep this private, and she said basically, that they have a lot of time to make up for. And I respect her for that privacy. Now, I can get on there and see if I can get through on the number, but then I'll know where he's at. And I don't want to know where he's at. So it's up to you guys to be patient with me. I might have to go back over to his wife's house and say he might need to call me again, but I'm kind of waiting for him to call back. What does he think about the coronavirus? We did talk about that, and he said that basically I mentioned to him that maybe the Democrats got something to do with, here me and Larry Nichols were talking, him getting better, and we're talking coronavirus. But it was part of what he said when they mentioned to you guys. He said September and last summer, he believes. And he said they're going to find something to use. And I said, do you think they used the coronavirus? And he said, definitely. That this would be something that they would latch onto. And I said, well, I got suspicions that it could be the Democrats. And he said, oh, yes. He goes, you remember, Elly, we knew about them, the Clintons, meaning, working with China in the 70s and 80s. And I said, oh, yes. And he goes, well, my memory's getting rusty. And I said, Larry, don't worry. I got your memories. He said, yes, you validate me, I validate you. And he said, we talked about, he remembered that. He said, yeah, we talked about this before I got sick. So, yes, that's what,
Well, I've mentioned that many times as we're going through and discussing this economic situation right now. I've said this many days that he said it was going to happen. The info he had gotten was it would happen in August or September of this year, and so they did it early.
Okay, Dreaming asked, is Larry hiding?
Look, can I finish what I was saying before you
Yeah.
answer? Dreaming is asking that. Um, he said it would happen in August or September because that's the word he had gotten. But after the impeachment was over sooner than they had anticipated. Okay, I've lost my train of thought. Never mind. Go ahead.
You remember it. Don't worry. You're not getting too old. You're not older than me, and I can put you in my club, Mary Ellen. Old as dirt, cute as mud. She's not listening to me.
I'm listening to you. I am ignoring something like that because a lot of those things I don't think are funny. So
anyway, is he hiding? This is what he told me. Okay, because I questioned him on it. And he said, Elly, you know my life is always in danger. And no matter where I go, there's always that possibility. There is always where I could be in certain places that I'm out in the open or weak for them to be able to get me. And so, yes, he's not in hiding, but we always have to worry about letting people know where he's at the time. That's why I said I don't want to know where he's at. You know, if he's at home, fantastic. His wife is probably enjoying the heck out of him because she really misses him. She tearfully, she really misses him. And but no, I don't think he's hiding. I think he's just recouping. But we always have to put his safety first. Because we just don't know the mindset of the Clintons. And I've told my viewers, you know, one day they might just say, you know what, it's wackadoodle time for people we don't like. Linda Ives runs the same risk. I run the same risk. They have not put me on their hit list yet. Cross my fingers. Flip a penny or something.
Well,
I've had people watch my house.
Have you received the death threats? I've gotten the phone calls for that, and I also had some CIA agents, good guys, patrolling my house a couple of years ago when Larry was in so much danger. I had people keeping an eye on me, and I caught them.
I did
guarding my street for me. And I was told by somebody on the team that it was, that they were looking out for me, and there's a real team that helps.
Mm-hmm. I asked her about money again, and asked her, if she's in need, if medical bills, help with the house bills, electric, and she says she's not in need of any money. That she's doing okay. She said now the doggy treats are getting a little much now, is what she said. She said just like that. The doggy treats are getting to be a little much. I can't keep feeding her all these expensive doggy treats. But she wants her Larry Nichols back. So, I asked her on that. The other thing I asked Larry Nichols was, of maybe extending time on the show. And he said that's something he would like to look into. But it's really me and him sitting down. He said he'd like to sit down with me and come up with a good plan for the show. He says, hang in there with me, Elly. Stay with me, Elly. And I said, I will. I'm there for you, bud. And, we're just going to go from there when he comes back. Mimi, I just, I asked her, is there anything you need? And every time I've been there, I've asked her, I know the bills are going to be expensive. I know the medicine's going to be expensive. And I mentioned amounts to her of, that everybody had been helping her with. And she said, we've got it. He's got a loving family. So, that's just pretty much, what we talked about, and at that point I said, I don't want to know, on the whole thing because it's none of my business. I'm like a co-host. I'm working with Larry. I don't want to know about no money. She even said she really didn't want to know much about the show, but she was very, very, it comforted her that all you care so much. And so, we're kind of at that with her. She don't really want to know much about the show. I told her, and when I told her, I really don't want to get into Larry Nichols financing. And she said, me either. And I said, well, that's both of us. And then we kind of chuckled. So, we're right there. MWY, why are people... Why is there a hornet's nest?
You've missed the chat. So, with that good news, folks, I'm going to, because of what's going on in the chat, I'm going to end the broadcast early today, and we'll come back tomorrow and continue with the news and so on. Thanks for your prayer for Larry. Thanks for your prayer for the president. I appreciate your being here, and God bless you all. You are supportive, you're wonderful, and I care a lot about you, and I just want to say thank you very much. And Elly, thanks for the wonderful news.
I was so happy to talk to him.
Yeah, I'm sure you.
He sounded so good, Mary Ellen.
That's great. That's great. With that, I'm going to end it and say we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks. God bless you. Bye.